Hare Krishna. So, very warm welcome to all our viewers. On behalf of the GBC SPT Strategic Planning Team, I, Aradhya Bhagavan Das, welcome you all to another exciting session of our FB Lives. All of you know that we have been creating some contents for the last 4 months, trying to aid all of you in your spiritual endeavor during these difficult lockdown times. So our team is always meditating on how we can help you, how we can bring some exciting content so that you find your lockdowns spiritually nourishing and enriching. So while we were meditating and we were discussing how to build our consciousness for Radha Ashtami, so we just finished Janmashtami and Radha Ashtami is just around the corner. So we are moving from Janmashtami to Radha Ashtami. So while we were discussing that, we decided that, we deliberated the fact that it is quite appropriate for us to prepare our consciousness to approach Radharani in the mood of Srimati Lalita Sakhi Devi. So Lalita Devi is the primordial Sankirtan leader, and being the primordial Sankirtan leader, without her blessings and her mercy, we cannot attend the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani and get her grace. So for that, to help you develop that mood for Radha Ashtami, we thought who better to have with us than the prolific Amarendra Prabhu. So we welcome Amarendra Prabhu. Thank you, Amarendra Prabhu, for joining us.
Thank you.
So he's a man who needs no introduction, but still for the benefit of many devotees over here, I will give his introduction in very short. So Amarendra Prabhu, he's a double master's in electrical engineering from Massachusetts, and he also has an MBA from Minnesota. That's his material qualification. He's also a Bhakti Shastri from Mayapur, and he's a prolific speaker. His videos, as all of you know, have gone viral all around the world. And we are all hooked onto his amazing lectures. So, without much ado, I would like to welcome Amarendra Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining us, Amarendra Prabhu. I will hand it over to you. Hope to hear some amazing katha from you and be immersed in the katha of Lalita Devi. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear Aradhya Prabhu. Thank you so much for kindly having me. I feel utterly unqualified. It's like a dwarf who's been asked to touch the moon, and it's a uphill task. Who can describe the glories of Radharani? Who can speak about the beauty of the love of Srimati Radharani? Who can describe the selfless spirit of devotional service of the residents of Vrindavan? Who can describe the dearmost associate of Radharani as Lalita Sakhi? Who has the power to describe the position of the gopis of Vrindavan? I am utterly unqualified. Being a conditioned soul in the material world, especially in the age of Kali Yuga, with offensive mentality, with a mountain of mistakes, wrongdoings, flaws, and drawbacks, there's nothing that I can offer today. But as Srila Prabhupada would always say, I may be imperfect, but the message that I'm carrying is perfect. So that is what Prabhupada taught us. Prabhupada always would say that we may have flaws, we may have shortcomings, but if we can repeat the message as it is, if we can carry the current of the Gaudiya Parampara without adding or subtracting anything, then that in itself is service to the Vaishnava community, because we are simply male boys. We are simply carrying the current. We are letting ourselves be the insignificant instruments of mercy. So that is exactly what I would like to do today. I would like to quote from a few authoritative, authentic, bona fide references on the glories of the gopis of Vrindavan, the glories of Srimati Radharani, the super excellent position of Lalita Sakhi, and whatnot. The references for the talk would be primarily based on the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami as far as the ontological position is concerned, as far as the philosophical deliberation is concerned. And we will also take references from other places like Ujjvala Nilamani of Rupa Goswami, Govinda Lilamrita of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and all of which has been quoted by Srila Prabhupada in the Bhaktivedanta purports to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We also have very beautiful pastimes in this regard, again, based on Prabhupada's presentation. I would like to read a few verses and then maybe discuss them, so that first we establish ourselves in the right Siddhanta, the right hierarchical position of the gopis, headed by Srimati Radharani, assisted by Lalita and Vishakha. And then to whet our appetite, we will also hear a few pastimes, very sweet pastimes of Lalita Sakhi, which draw in more appreciation for the super excellent transcendental qualities that she is very well known for, presented by Rupa Goswami in a very beautiful book called Hamsa Duta. Rupa Goswami is also famously composed the 8 verses of the Lalita Ashtakam. Ashtakam means 8, and Lalita Devi is the presiding deity of this Ashtakam. So therefore, the Lalita Ashtakam of Rupa Goswami will also be the basis for the different details that we would give. Also, we will run back and forth between Gaur Ganodesh Deepika and Radha Krishna Ganodesh Deepika, which mention a few very beautiful, a few important, effective details in this regard, as far as the identity of Swarup Damodar Goswami is concerned, Ramananda Rai is concerned, etc. The parallels of Krishna Lila and Gaur Lila, and also some important attractive details as far as her age and her eternal service is concerned. So that will be the overall projectile, so to speak, of this talk. I want to offer my obeisances, bowing my head down in gratitude to this very beautiful opportunity offered by the ISKCON GBC strategic planning team. Although I'm unqualified, this attempt to serve the Vaishnavas has certainly, with all honesty, helped me read and hear and present a few thoughts on this detail. So it definitely engaged my mind, engaged my time in the service of Radha and Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. So for that, I want to offer my gratitude and my obeisances. I want to offer my obeisances to all the wonderful coordinators and the management team of this very beautiful initiative, for kindly, affectionately, lovingly coordinating with me and trusting me in this service. I will try my bit to be as sincere as possible that I can in this endeavor. But if there are mistakes, if there are any shortcomings in my attempt, like a swan, please keep away the water of my mistakes and the water of my drawbacks, and please happily accept the milk of the essence of what is being presented. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we are celebrating the Adivas-tithi of Radhashtami, which means today is the day before the appearance of Srimati Radharani. And I was very blissful to hear the talk given by His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj just before this, few hours ago. And how beautifully Maharaj, as he always does, was explaining the position of Srimati Radharani with very sweet pastimes on the basis of the book that he has very beautifully compiled, a 2-part book on the pastimes of Srimati Radharani. So to go deeper into this mood of appreciation of the position of Srimati Radharani, I would like to dive straight into the 4th chapter of the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita of our very beloved Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Actually, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj was once mentioning that those who worship Vishnu as their prominent presiding deity of priority, they are called Vaishnavas. And those who worship Krishna as their presiding deity are called Karshnavas or Karshnayas. But those who worship Srimati Radharani as the presiding deity, they are called Gaudiyas. They're worshipping Param Gauri, the highest source of all spiritual pleasure potencies. So therefore, we being Gaudiya Vaishnava followers of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara and aspiring Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Radharani is of paramount importance in our devotional worship. We worship Janmashtami as the appearance day of Sri Krishna, but Krishna is approached by offering our services to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. When we want to offer a flower to Krishna, we offer the flower in the hands of Srimati Radharani, and we let Srimati Radharani offer that flower or that garland of flowers on our behalf to her Gopinath. So therefore, we see in our ISKCON temples, Srimati Radharani is either holding a garland, or she's offering her blessings, or she's holding a flower bouquet in another hand, which means she is acting as a very wonderful medium of mercy, taking our insignificant attempt to serve Krishna and magnifying that, putting it on an enlarged frame of importance in the presence of Krishna, so that now Krishna can accept the jivas. So Radharani is that source of mercy that we can depend on. So Janmashtami is the appearance of Krishna, but that Krishna can be attained, that Krishna can be served by serving Radharani, who appeared on Radhashtami. So therefore, we wouldn't be wrong to say that Radhashtami is the most prominent festival for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas on the Gaudiya Vaishnava calendar, because it, with respect to Radhashtami, all other tithis make sense. Just like the wife, once she gets married to her husband, then all the other relatives from the husband's side, now they become the relatives for the wife, because she gets her relations to her in-laws through her husband. So once our relationship has been established to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani under the auspices, the merciful umbrella of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then all other relations, even as far as tithis are concerned, they start making sense, because our priority is Srimati Radharani. Then Janmashtami becomes more blissful than before. Why? Because now it's the appearance of Krishna, who is the beloved of Srimati Radharani. Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Gaur Avirbhav Tithi or Gaur Purnima becomes more glorious now. Before, we would think that's the appearance day of the Kali Yuga avatar or the inaugurator of the Sankirtan movement. But now, after giving a complete submission and surrender to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, Gaur Purnima is the tithi of the appearance of Sri Krishna, who wants to taste the bhav of Srimati Radharani, who comes completely covered by the transcendental complexion, golden complexion of Srimati Radharani's love. Similarly, Rupa Goswami's appearance and disappearance makes so much sense now as the dearmost associate of Srimati Radharani. And then what to speak of the whole month of Kartik as the month of Srimati Radharani. So therefore, Radharani's position is of the highest pedestal for a Gaudiya Vaishnava, as the famous story quoted in the Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, a very wonderful compilation by His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj, the story of Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, when he was asked about the king of Bharatpur, who was offering obeisances and circumambulating Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. At that time, Saraswati Thakur made this very famous, eternal, immortal statement as the mission statement for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentioned that they offer obeisances to Radharani because she is the beloved of Sri Krishna. Their main focus is the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. And because Srimati Radharani is the one who has won the heart of Sri Krishna, they give some importance to Radharani. Our Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur then flipped it and said, but for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, our predominating deity is Srimati Radharani. And because Shama Sundar has won over the heart of Srimati Radhika, then we offer our obeisances to Krishna in this regard. So therefore, in this regard, to understand the glory of Radhashtami, let us take shelter of the 4th chapter of Adirila Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is certainly a gift to mankind. If someone studies the 4th chapter of the Adilila Chaitanya Charitamrita, then so many wonderful, beautiful messages will flood their heart. Kaviraj Goswami has promised, Chaitanya Charitamrita Nitya Karopan, Jaha hoite Premananda Bhakti Tattva Gyan. That if someone drinks from the pot of Chaitanya Charitamrita every single day, then two things are inevitable. First is Jaha hoite Premananda. He will be touched with condensed, ecstatic, unparalleled love for the divine couple. And not just a sentimental, flickering motion of emotions, but Bhakti Tattva Gyan. He will be established in deep philosophical truth and understanding of what is Bhakti Tattva, what is Nam Tattva, what is Dham Tattva, what is Guru Tattva, what is Krishna Tattva, what is Bhagavat Tattva, what is Jiva Tattva, what is Rasa Tattva. All of this is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So let us see what Chaitanya Charitamrita describes as far as the position of Srimati Radharani is concerned. Kaviraj Goswami has very beautifully explained, Krishna prema bhavita jar chittendriya kai, Krishna nijas shakti radha krida rasahai. Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna prema bhavita jar chitte rakai, chitta indriya kai. He says, Radharani is that personality whose body, whose senses, whose mind is completely the transformation of Krishna Prem. Krishna Prem, completely head to toe, is Srimati Radharani. Like our Raghunath Das Goswami, in one verse describing Radharani, explains, which with an example we can understand. He's mentioned something about the glory of Radharani's ornaments and Radharani's garments and Radharani's hair, etc. So we can understand that if you take some sugar and you make a toy, you make a doll with sugar, then we can say, what is the doll made up of? The answer is sugar. Then what is the hair of that doll made up of? Well, the answer is sugar. What's the frock of that doll made up of? Well, the answer is sugar. And what are the shoes of this doll made up of? And the answer remains sugar, because you take sugar and you make up the whole doll, the ornaments of the doll, the garments of the doll, the accessories and the paraphernalia, supporting paraphernalia of the doll. So everything, since it's made out of sugar, then we can say that the material through which the doll is made is the same material with which the paraphernalia is made. And that goes same with Srimati Radharani. Krishna Prem is what she's made up of. It's not that only her heart is made up of Krishna Prem, but her nails are not made of Krishna Prem, or her hair is not made of Krishna Prem. Actually, everything about Srimati Radharani is made only about Krishna Prem. Her hair, her garments, her ornaments, her face painting, everything is dipped with this Krishna Seva Vasana, the desire to serve Sri Krishna in a very selfless way. So Kaviraj Goswami says, this Radharani is Krishna Prema Bhavita Jar Chitta Indriya Kai. That Radharani whose body, whose senses, whose consciousness is a transformation of Krishna Prem. Who is she? Krishna Nija Shakti Radha. That Radharani is Krishna's Nija Shakti, Krishna's own Shakti. It's not that Krishna's interacting with someone of this world. Atma Ramascha Munayo. Krishna is described as Atma Ram. He who is self-satisfied. Which means if Krishna has a desire, Amake Ananda Dibe Ache Konjan, who is that person who can give me happiness? Then that Shakti which appears from the left side of his body, from his heart, is called Radharani, very famously called as the Ladini Shakti, the pleasure-giving potency. So the internal energy of Krishna is what manifests outside and serves the energetic. So Krishna is not depending on persons, circumstances, objects of this world for his own pleasure. He depends on his own energy for his own pleasure, in his own pastimes. This is what Kaviraj Goswami mentions. Then he goes ahead to describe the relation between Radha and Krishna. Ananda chinmaya rasa pratibhavitavis tabirya eva nijarupa kalabhi golokam eva nijasakti akhilatma bhuto govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Golokam eva nivasati akhilatma bhuto. This Krishna who lives in Goloka, but akhilatma bhuta, who lives in all atoms and in all living beings. What is his relationship with Radharani? Quoting from the Brahma Samhita, the words of Brahma, Kaviraj Goswami includes it here as Praman. He mentions that Krishna and Radharani What are the names for them? Radharani is also called Ananda, Anandini, she who gives pleasure. And Krishna is Chit, completely, fully conscious, fully potent, all cognizant at all times. So Krishna is Chit, all knowledgeable, and Radharani is Ananda. So when they interact, that interaction is called Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, the taste which explodes like a volcano in the interaction between Ananda, Anandini Radha, and Chinmaya Swarup Krishna. And when this is reflected on the mirror of their own energies by expansions, Tabir, ya eva nija rupataya kalabhi, nija rupataya, their own forms when they so one Krishna expands as two as Radha and Krishna. So Anandini Radha and Chinmay Krishna, when they interact, it's called Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Now when they start expanding, an expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion of the expansion, that's called Kala. Ete chamsa kala pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. We find the same word in the Bhagavatam. That first expansion is called Amsha, a portion. And the portion of the portion is called Kala. Technically, words are very specific in Sanskrit. The form of the Lord is called Roop. First expansion is called Swarup. Portion of the Lord, the plenary portion is called Amsha, and a portion of that portion is called Kala. So when Radha and Krishna interact, and they have very beautiful, pure, love-filled transcendental pastimes with Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Now when they expand, Pratibhavi Tabihi, Tabirya Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabhihi, then the expansions are called as the Sakhis or the Gopis, the Sakhi Vrinda, the Gopi Vrinda. And all of them, Radharani, Sri Krishna, in Goloka Dham with all their Gopis and Sakhis. Although they reside in Goloka Vrindavan, they at the same time play in the heart of pure Vaishnavas. This is why Tomara Hriday Sada Govinda Vishram. Krishna lives in the heart of a pure Vaishnava, but he doesn't live alone. He lives with Srimati Radharani, who also expands as the Gopis of Vrindavan. Now Kaviraj Goswami is increasing the excitement by inducing all the devotees by more descriptions of the Gopis of Vrindavan. Krishnera karaya che rasa aswadan, krida rasa hai jache suno vivaran. Kaviraj Goswami says, Suno vivaran. Now please listen very carefully as I describe that Krishnera karaye jache rasa aswadan, just so that Krishna should taste more juice in Krida Rasahai, in supporting his pastimes. What happens? As Radharani expands to the Gopis of Vrindavan for more and more playful pastimes, Kaviraj Goswami says, Krishna Kanta Gana Dekhi Trividha Prakar Eka Lakshmi Gana Pure Mahishi Gana Ar. He says there are three expansions that Radharani goes through. What are the three expansions? He says the first expansion are the goddesses of fortune of Vaikuntha. The second expansion are the queens of Mathura and Dwarka. And the third expansions are the Gopis of Vrindavan. The goddesses of fortune, the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha, the queens of Mathura and Dwarka, and the Gopis of Vrindavan. And out of these three, who is the highest? Kaviraj Goswami says, Vrajangana Rupar Kanta Ganasar Sri Rādhika Haite Kanta Ganera Vistar. Kaviraj Goswami says, of these three types, the goddesses of fortune, the queens of Dwarka, and the Gopis of Vrindavan, the Gopis of Vrindavan are the highest. And amidst the Gopis of Vrindavan, Sri Radhika Haite Krishna Ganera Vistar. Krishna Ganera Vistar. Radhika is doing, Srimati Radharani is expanding into these three forms of the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha as the queens of Mathura and Dwarka and as the Gopis of Vrindavan. But Kaviraj Goswami says, out of all of them, Radharani retains her position as number one, as the greatest devotee of Sri Krishna. We can find in the pages of the Brihad Bhagavatamrita of Sripad Sanatan Goswami, there's a very beautiful hierarchy given of the devotees of the Supreme Lord. We find how Narada Muni goes searching for the best devotee, and he finds a king in this world. And he says, oh, you are the greatest devotee of the Lord. He finds the devotee serving a Shalikram Shila. And the king, the devotee says, no, actually, I do this only once a year. If you really want to know who's a greater devotee, you should go to Indra. Because Indra worships Krishna with all the different residents of heaven. When they go to worship him, he takes all of them in worshipping Krishna. And he does it every day. and he does it for as many celestial years as he rules as Indra. So therefore, I just do it once a year while being on earth. But Indra is better than me. So when Narad Muni goes to Indra, Indra says, no, actually, the person who's better than me is Brahma. I turned my face away from Krishna during the Govardhan Leela. I made Krishna fight me for the Parijata tree. I have made so many mistakes, Narada. Haven't you read the Srimad Bhagavatam? In the 6th canto, I have made mistakes. I run around for my life. I perform Guru Aparad. I cut the heads of the priest. And then I fight Vritrasura. I have done so many mistakes. In the 7th canto, Hiranyakashipu kicks me out of office. In the 8th canto, Bali Maharaj brings me in. 9th canto, I take a break, but 10th canto, again, Govardhan Leela. So I am not the greatest devotee. You should go to Brahma. When Narad Muni goes to his own father, Brahma again, in his mood of humility, he says, haven't you seen how I have doubted Krishna's position in the Brahma Vimohan Leela? I have made so many mistakes. So, oh, dear disciple and son, Narada, I am not the right candidate. And systematically, Sanatana Goswami describes going from the king to Indra to Brahma. Brahma directs to Shiva, and Shiva directs to Prahlad, and Prahlad directs to Hanuman. And going up the ladder, then the Pandavas are mentioned as the greatest devotee. And when Narad Muni comes to the Pandavas saying, Yatra dharma sutho rajan, gadha pani vrikodara, Krishna stri gandhivas chapam, suhrit Krishna tatho vipat. That you went through so much calamity, you had so much problems, so many problems in life. But one thing that went stronger and stronger and stronger with you is your faith and devotional love for Sri Krishna. But Yudhishthir Maharaj turned this offer down of being crowned as the greatest devotee. Yudhishthir Maharaj says, how can I be the greatest devotee? The greatest devotee, in my opinion, is Uddhava. And he directs it ahead. He says, Ugrasen Maharaj says, Uddhava. Yudhishthir Maharaj says, actually, I have done negative preaching. Anyone who reads my life and reads the life of our family as brothers, our wife, our mother, etc., they will give up devotion to Sri Hari. They will think that if you worship Sri Hari, then your situation will become like the Pandavas. So therefore, don't worship them. Yudhishthir Maharaj, in his humility, says that. But then as Narad Muni goes searching for the greatest devotee, Uddhava says, yes, actually, I was convinced that I am the best devotee. Vrishninam pravaro mantri Krishnasya daita sakha shishyo brihaspati sakshat Uddhavo buddhisattama. I was convinced I am the best devotee. But then I went to Vrindavan and I got to witness the explosion of Vrajras, the devotional mellow of the residents of Vrindavan, and very specifically the gopis of Vrindavan. And then Uddhava says in the Bhagavatam, Asamaho charana renu jushamaham syam vrindavane kimapi gulmalata ushadhinam yadustyajam swajanam arya patham chahitva bejur mukunda padavim shrutibrigyameva vande nanda vrajastrinam padarenu rabhikshashah yasam harikathodgitam punati bhuvanatrayam eta param tanubhruto bhuvi gopavadho Govinda eva nikhilatmani ruda bhava vanchanti yad bhavabhiyo munayo vayamcha kim brahmajanma bhirananta katharasasya. Uddhava chants so many prayers towards the end of the 47th chapter of the 10th canto, establishing this fact that I don't know anything. The gopis of Vrindavan, they are so exalted that all that I desire is to become a blade of grass on the other side, so that when they enter, let them smear and scrape their lotus feet off to take all the dust on my head, and then let them enter the land of Braja. So this is the mood of Uddhava. This is the mood of the great disciple of Brihaspati. He got completely humbled. He came to teach the gopis, but he was educated by the gopis. Then when Narad Muni came to the gopis of Vrindavan, Sanatana Goswami establishes that the residents of Vrindavan are the greatest emblem of devotion, in that the gopis, and very specifically Srimati Radharani. So that's what even Kaviraj Goswami is echoing here, that in that position of all the devotees of all the planets of the whole of creation, the best are the gopis of Vrindavan, and amidst that the crown is Srimati Radhika. Avatari Krishna jache kare avatar, Amsini Radha haite tina ganera vistar, Vaibhav gana jetar anga vibhuti, Bimba pratibimba rupa mahishiratati, Akara swabhava bhede vraja devi gan, Kaya vyuha rupa tara rasera karan. Kaviraj Goswami has explained that Just like Krishna takes avatars, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narsimha, etc. They're all Keshava Dhrita. The killer of Keshi, Krishna, became Matsya, Kurma, Varaha. Just like Krishna takes avatars, Amshini Radha hoite teen ganera vistar. Radharani also takes avatars. She expands. And in that, Kaviraj Goswami explains that the expansion are the goddesses of fortune and Vaikuntha. While the reflections, Bimba Pratibimba, Rupa, Mahishira Tati, that the reflections of Radharani, the shadow of Radharani, the reflections of Radharani are the queens of Mathura and Dwarka. The expansions are the goddesses of fortune. But who are the gopis? Very beautifully Kaviraj Goswami mentions. He says the goddesses, the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha are the expansions of Radharani. They are the Anga Vibhuti. The queens of Mathura and Dwaraka, they are the shadow or the reflection of Radharani. But who are the gopis of Vrindavan? They are the body of Radharani. Kaya Vyuha Rupa Tara Rasera Karan. Just because Radharani desires to serve Krishna in multiple forms, this is the nature of love. You see, the parents do so much for the child, but then still they feel, I wish I could do this also. I wish I could do that also. The fact of not being fulfilled is the symptom of overflooding love. So Radharani serves Krishna in one form, but she thinks that if one expansion of Radhika, as Radharani, is pleasing my Shama Sundar so much, I wish I could become 2 Radharanis, I could become 3 Radharanis, I could become 4 Radharanis. And in this way, through Akara Swabhava Bheda Vraja Devi Gan, Kaviraj Goswami says, through diverse features, through diverse looks, temperaments, moods, Radharani is having her own body expand. And those are the gopis of Vrindavan. There's a variety, there's a direct expansion of different kinds of varieties. The moods are different, the mellows are different. Some of them are very soft, some of them are very bold, very explosive and volatile, if you could say, with very hot-tempered mindset. And some of them are very expert in garland making. Some of them are expert in cooking. Some of them are expert in singing. Well, they're all expert in everything. But different qualities of Radharani take forms. You can see even in this world, you can have vanilla ice cream. But then when you top it with different flavors, then the ice cream gets even more exciting. So Radharani is like the base vanilla, the undercover Vrajras, Gopi Bhav, Radha Bhav, for all the gopis. But then they're decorated with some prominence and some special features. Their forms are a little different. Their moods are a little different. Their expertise are little different. The qualities are a little different. The talents and attributes are a little different. And Kaviraj Goswami at that point says, Bahu kanta bina nahi rasera ulhas, lilara sahai lagi bahuta prakash. Why is Radharani expanding? Just because she wants Krishna to be served in all directions at all times in multiple moods, and never should service be lost. This is the mood of Radharani. This is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is mentioning. So we could understand this with an example, that let's say there is a teacher who wants to teach a class. And in that class, there's only one student who is over 90%. Everyone else is, let's say, dancing in the 50%, 60%, 70%. And the teacher comes and puts her hard work. She's teaching so intensely with so much devotion. But there's only one student who's like 95%. Rest, some of them are at 60. Some of them are even failing the course. The teacher doesn't feel very inspired to teach this class. But to increase the exhilaration, so to speak, the ecstasy of the teacher, let's say if the lead student starts taking classes, teaching classes, and teaches and coaches and mentors all the other students, and now the class gets so competitive that it's like 97.5, 98.2, 99.3, 96.7. The teacher gets so much excitement just teaching that class, because he or she as the teacher is witnessing a very academic, a very top-notch academic competition, and it's worth every minute of his or her time as a teacher to explain that. So similarly, Radharani is like the 99.99%, let's say, in this world. Of course, she's 100%, but in this world, kids don't get 100%. So I'm just trying to parallel that. So Radharani is like the number one, but there's no other devotee who matches Srimati Radharani. So therefore, to increase Krishna's exhilaration, his ecstasy in his rasa, from rasa vichar, rasa aswadam, the hunger, the thirst to taste rasa, what Radharani does is she herself expands. And when her Vishesh mood expands, that's called Vishaka Sakhi. When her Lalit mood expands, that's called Lalita Sakhi. When her form, the beauty of her form expands, that's called Rupa Manjari. When her deep attachment to Krishna expands in one form, that's called Rati Manjari. When her form of ecstatic love in an unparalleled way expands, that's called Ananga Manjari. When her main quality expands, that's called Guna Manjari. When the fragrance of her body expands, that's called Kasturi Manjari. So in this way, Radharani herself, in her unlimited qualities, expands one quality after another. And Kaviraj Goswami says this is to increase Krishna's happiness. This is the expression of Radharani's love for Krishna. Therefore, Bahu Kanta Vina Nahi Rasera Ulhas. Just like without multiple students who are all academically profound, there cannot be active competition in the classroom. Similarly, without having multiple gopis or sakhis, there cannot be that level of ecstasy, of taste of divine Vrajaras. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami explains this in this chapter as the glories of the gopis headed by Srimati Radharani. We see again the mention of the gopis of Vrindavan in a very beautiful conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. This is found in the 8th chapter of Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And systematically, it's a long discussion, but systematically, Ramananda Rai is answering the questions of Sriman Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is asking different questions. What is the Sarva Sadhyasar? What is the essence of all that has to be known? The essence of our goal in this human form. And Kavir and our Ramananda Rai slowly builds up from Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, goes up to Sakam Bhakti, Nishkam Bhakti, etc. And coming up the ladder, he goes into the stages of Bhav. And then in Prema, he starts explaining about Shantaras, Tasyaras, Sakhiras, Vatsaliras, and then speaks about Madhuri Rasa. And when Ramananda Rai is speaking about Madhuri Rasa, Kaviraj Goswami explodes in his poetic expression. And Kaviraj Goswami says, Radha Krishnera Lila Ati Gudatar Dasya Vatsalyadi Bhava Nahay Gochar. That Radha and Krishna's Leelas are Ati Gudatar. Gudha means confidential. Gudatara means very confidential. And Ati means very, very confidential. So Ati Gudatar. Radha Krishna Leela e Ati Gudatar. Ramananda Rai is saying the pastimes of Radha and Krishna are very, very confidential. Who can understand? Can someone in Dasya Bhav understand? Can someone in Sakhya Bhav understand? Can someone in Vatsalya Bhav understand? Ramananda Rai says, Dasya, Vatsalya Adi Bhave, Nahai Gochar. Even those, what to speak of people in this world? Even those in heaven, even those in Vaikuntha, even those in eternal realm of Dwarka, worshipping Krishna's Dwarkadish, even those in Mathura, even those in Brajmandal, Goloka Vrindavan cannot understand. Those in Dasyaras cannot understand. Those in Sakhiras cannot understand. Those in Vatsalyaras also cannot understand Radha Krishna. Kaviraj Goswami is saying that even those like Nanda and Yashoda cannot understand Radha Krishna. So who can understand Radha Krishna? Who can understand the pastimes of Radha Krishna? Kaviraj Goswami says, Sakhi vina e lilai anya nahi gati, Sakhi bhave jay tare kare anugati. That except for these Sakhis, the gopis of Vrindavan, nobody else can understand. And therefore, only those who walk behind the Sakhis can understand these pastimes. This is why Prabhupada taught us to worship Tulsi and ask for what? E nivedana dharo Sakhi anugata koro sevadhikara diye koro nijadasi. O Brinda Devi, O Tulsi Maharani, E nivedana dharo. I hold only one request in my heart. Sakhi anugata koro. Just make me a maidservant who has the fortune of walking behind the Sakhis. And in this way, seva adhikara diye. Give me some adhikar, some qualification for service. Koro nijadasi. Just make me a maidservant. Let me live in Vrindavan. যে তোমার শরণ লয় তারা বাঞ্ছা পূর্ণ হয়, কৃপা করি করো তারে বৃন্দাবনবাসী, Vrindavanavasi. Begging Tulsi Devi. Prabhupada said you should worship Tulsi morning and evening. We wear Tulsi beads on the neck, we chant on Tulsi beads, we have a Tulsi on our forehead. Tulsi is of prominent importance. Advaita Acharya called Mahaprabhu on the power of Tulsi. Our Haridas Thakur convinced the prostitute and converted her just by chanting in front of her and letting her circumambulate Tulsi. So Tulsi is very, very powerful. Radharani is very, very powerful. So what do we beg her for? We beg her for residence in Vrindavan and the fortune of following the Sakhis, the gopis of Vrindavan. Why? Kaviraj Goswami says, except for those who walk behind the gopis, no one can understand Radha and Krishna. To illustrate this point, I want to give you an example. You see, when Krishna disappeared from the Rasa arena, the Rasa Sthali, the Rasa Leela described in the 10th canto, we know for sure that the gopis went helter-skelter. They ran pillar to post, searching for Sri Shama Sundar. And then finally, Krishna transformed himself into the four-handed form of Vishnu. And then what happened when the gopis went and asked Vishnu that, can you please tell us where our Shama Sundar is? Vishnu pointed in four directions and the gopis were bifurcated in four different directions. And then they started running to find Sham Sundar. But when Radharani came, searching for her Sham Sundar and looked at Vishnu, what happened? Two of his fake arms melted and he held his flute with his two hands. Tribhanga deha sundaram nakhadyuti sudakaram amulya ratna bhushanam namami nandanandanam. Rupa Goswami says the threefold bending form with a flute pressed on his lips. Krishna stood there. Think about it. Those gopis who ran ahead of Radharani, they did not see Sham Sundar. They saw Vishnu. Now, the point to be noted is they are not Kali Yuga Jivas. They are gopis in Vrindavan. But still, when they ran ahead of Radharani, Krishna transformed himself and cheated them as Vishnu. He did not give his actual swarup. But those gopis who ran behind Radharani, those who ran behind as Radha Anugata Sakhis, what happened? They could see Shama Sundar. Those who went ahead, they could not see. Those who ran behind Radharani, following Radharani, they could see Vishnu transform into Krishna. So what does this mean? If we try to frivolously approach Krishna without the mercy of Radharani and her Sakhis, even if you yourself a Sakhi, Krishna will cheat and become a four-handed form of Vishnu in Vrindavan. But for those who follow the Sakhis, following the footsteps of Radharani, behind Radharani, then what happens? Even if you go to Vishnu, Vishnu transforms into Krishna. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami says, no one except the Sakhis of Vrindavan understand the position of Radha and Krishna and the sweetness of their pastimes. Even those in Dasya, Sakhya and Vatsalya don't understand. Therefore, if someone wants to understand the gopis of Vrindavan, they must follow the example of the gopis of Vrindavan headed by Srimati Radharani. What do the gopis then give? Radha Krishna Kunja Seva Sadhya Sei Pai Sei Sadhya Paite Ara Nahika Upai. Kaviraj Goswami says, when you walk behind the Sakhis who are walking behind Radharani, then the Sakhis take the living entity into the groves of Vrindavan and give them the rare opportunity of serving Radha and Krishna. Apart from this, say sadhya paite ara nahika upai. If someone wants the service of Radha and Krishna in Braja, there is no other way, no other way, no other way, says Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And it's so beautiful at this point, when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining the position, the ontological position. He explained how Krishna expands into avatars, like that Radharani also expands into different incarnations. He explained how the plenary expansions are there, the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha, the reflections and the shadows are the queens of Mathura and Dwarka. But the actual manifestation of the bodily expansion are the Sakhis of Vrindavan, and they are appearing only to increase the ecstasy. Without surrendering to these Sakhis, Kaviraj Goswami says there is no other way, no other way, no other way to understand Radha and Krishna. So at this point, Prabhupada very brilliantly in his Bhaktivedanta purport to this verse of the Madhya Leela Chaitanya Charitamrita, he takes a very beautiful section of the Sakhi Prakarana descriptions from the Ujjvala Nilamani Grantha of Rupa Goswami. And there Rupa Goswami has defined what is the meaning of the word Sakhi. We use this word, Visakha Sakhi, Lalita Sakhi, Indulekha Sakhi. We call Sakhi, Padma Sakhi, Shaibhya Sakhi. So what is this Sakhi? Rupa Goswami in his Ujjvala Nilamani, which Prabhupada has quoted in the purport to this verse of Kaviraj Goswami's Chaitanya Charitamrita, describing the conversation of Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There, Prabhupada explains the word Sakhi means one who expands this Madhurya Rasa, this conjugal mood of Krishna with the gopis. So Krishna has very beautiful pastimes with the gopis, and those who actually expand this rasa. Krishna's dealing with Radharani. If it's like a mountain peak, those who pull that mountain peak as high and as tall as possible, expand the joy of Krishna and Srimati Radhika. Those are called as the Sakhis. And Prabhupada there answers one more question which may rise in our mind. We may have this question that, well, the Sakhis, they increase the happiness of Radha and Krishna, but what are the things they actually do in Goloka Vrindavan? When you think of Dasya Ras, what are the emotions that come in our heart? Maybe massaging the lotus feet, panning the superior, making sure that you serve from time to time. These are the modes of servitude. Then when we think of friendship, what are the different services that come to our mind? Frolicking with the cows, dancing and singing and sharing a meal, vana bhojan in the middle of the forest, playing the buffalo horn and the bugle and the flutes and the conch shell to wake up Krishna in the morning, and face painting Krishna, wrestling with Krishna, jumping on Krishna's back, crying on Krishna's shoulder, cutting jokes, playing tricks, playing hide and seek. And so many of these playful acts and sports. These are the natural scenes that lit up the consciousness of the listener when they think of Sakyaras. When you think of Vatsalyaras, what are the different services that come to our mind? Waking up the baby, feeding the baby, bathing the baby, having motherly love, paternal love, teaching the child to stand up, teaching the child to walk, giving different sweets to the child, telling stories to the child, putting the child to sleep, and admiring the beauty of the baby, counting the number of white rice grain like teeth growing into the mouth of the baby. These are all different emotions that come naturally in the heart of someone in Vatsalya Rasa. So similarly, the question may come that what are the different services and functions of the Sakhis of Vrindavan? When we say they expand the rasa of Radha and Krishna, what are the different services that they perform? So this may be a question in our mind. Therefore, for our benefit, Prabhupada quotes 16 services that the Sakhis perform in Goloka Vrindavan for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. Again, Prabhupada takes it from Rupa Goswami's Ujjvala Nilamani. Prabhupada mentions the 16 services as one, to chant the glories of Radha and Krishna. Second, to act in such a way that Radharani's appreciation for Krishna increases, Krishna's appreciation for Radharani increases. So point number one, to sing the names of Radha and Krishna, to sing the glories of Radha and Krishna when they're together. Point number two, when they're apart, either let's say there's a quarrel, there's a love quarrel, there's a prem kalaha. So at that time, to reconcile and make sure that their appreciation for each other increases. This is point number two, by glorifying the qualities. Now, Krishna is not that bad. Don't worry. Oh, Radhike, please give up your man. And going to Krishna and then describing the qualities of Radharani. This is point number two. Point number three, inspiring them to give up their fight, give up their differences, and then come together again and induce them to approach each other. Point number four is to completely surrender for the service of Radha and Krishna. Complete surrender. Point number five, to create a very jovial atmosphere, to cut jokes from time to time, to make sure that Radharani is smiling and Krishna is laughing and they're having a nice time. This is point number five. So therefore, the desire to cut a joke and laugh at jokes, where are we getting that from? We're getting that from the spiritual world. The desire to make the other person laugh, to be attracted by somebody's smile, coming in the presence of others and cutting a joke and being happy to see everyone burst into laughter. This is one of the mood of Sakyaras and very specifically the Madhurya Rasa. So point number 5, the 5th service that they perform is they create a jovial atmosphere. The 6th service that they perform is they give assurance to Radha and Krishna that don't worry, we are always there for you. You continue relishing your sweet, lovely pastimes and enjoy the company of each other in the land of Braja. We will take care of everything. We are always there to assist. The 7th is they are very eager to dress the divine couple, to decorate the divine couple, to make a wonderful arrangement so that the beauty of the divine couple, which is unlimitedly unlimited, to increase that unlimitedly forever. The 8th is their expertise in revealing their heart for increasing more and more pleasure. The 9th is very interesting. I love it the most. The 9th is to conceal the faults of Radharani, not of Krishna, but of Radharani, to make sure that Radharani's faults don't come up. Of course, they transcendently have no faults, but sometimes by the cover of the power potency and the covering of Yoga Maya Shakti, Purnamasi Devi, Brinda Devi, to increase Braja Bhav, there may be apparent shortcomings, let's say. So to hide the faults of Radharani and to magnify and loudly announce the faults of Krishna. That's the 9th one. The 10th one is to interestingly slit out and cheat their make-believe in-laws and so on and so forth, superiors. Of course, there's no in-laws. They're acting as outlaws because they stop the Sakhis from meeting Krishna. But to interestingly cheat their superiors in that way, of course, we should not misunderstand this. This is very specific in this way. This, when represented in this world, it is abominable, but this is transcendently, spiritually perfect. Therefore, in the Guru Ashtakam, when we sing Tatra Ati Daksha Ati Vallabhasya, that also means that Guru in the spiritual form is a follower of the Sakhis, following all these moods. Then the 11th one is to educate, which means to sometimes counsel Krishna to the side, sometimes counsel Radharani. No, don't worry. I think you should do this. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. The 12th, Prabhupada explains, is to plan the arrangement of the meeting of Radha and Krishna at the right time. They send out, Brinda Devi sends out parrots. It's interesting. Brinda Devi has a parrot, a disciple, very dear parrot. And that parrot, head parrot, is the guru of all the parrots of Braja. And he has 100,000 disciples. So he sends early in the morning at 7 o'clock, 10,000 parrots this way, 10,000 parrots the other way, 10,000 parrots this way. And it's interesting. The way he sends those parrots is also interesting. He will send first 1,000, and then in a couple of seconds, another 1,000, in a couple of seconds, another 1,000, so that when the first set of 1,000 parrots meet, and they are returning, the second set meet, and the third set meet, and the fourth set meet. So in that way, it's a constant, continuous flow of information of what's happening in Brajamandal, so that they can decide what pastimes to orchestrate that day. So it's the Braj Planning Commission team, the strategic planning team of Braja, so that they make sure of different strategies, how to have Radha and Krishna meet on the basis of the messages that they receive. Who is where? What is the mood of Mother Yashoda? What's the mood of Jatila and Kutila? What is the mood of Nanda Maharaj? What is the mood of Krishna and Balaram? So to make sure that everyone is satisfied, Brinda Devi does that. So, and then finally to have Radha and Krishna meet is the 12th point, Prabhupada explains. The 13th is to fan the divine couple in the Kunja of Braja, in the groves, to fan them. So this we understand. Narottam Das Thakur sings, Radha Krishna Pranamor Jugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Aronahi More. So there he says, Chamara Dulabo Kave Heri Mukha Chandra. Oh, when will that day be mine? That I can fan the divine couple. Chamara Dulabo Kave Heri Mukha Chandra. I can glance at the beautiful smiling moon-like faces of Radha and Krishna and fan the divine couple. Prabhupada explains this is the 13th point. The 14th is to reproach the hero and heroine, Radha and Krishna, Nayak and Naika, The 15th is to set conversations in motion. Let's say there's a situation where no one's talking. So the Sakhis know how to cut a joke or tell a story, or sometimes have an allegorical story to make Krishna understand something, or to set conversations in motion. And the 16th, Prabhupada explains, is to protect Radharani by all means. Just in case if Krishna is going from one kunj to another and Radharani is being very kind on him, then to make sure that she is, Radharani being very naive and very gullible, is very soft. So to protect her, that she should not be tricked upon by the threefold bending form of Sri Krishna. So therefore, this is to protect Radharani by always. So Prabhupada explains, quoting from Rupa Goswami, that this is the definition of a Sakhi. These are the 16 prominent services performed by a Sakhi. But then Rupa Goswami takes it one step higher, and he explains, amidst the Sakhis, there are 5 categories of Sakhis. Dear devotees, you will be very, very inspired to know this. Understanding the hierarchy of Krishna's servants from this world to that world, we established how the Sakhis are the highest, who expand and increase the rasa of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But Rupa Goswami, who's an insider, as Rupa Manjari in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, he explains there are 5 types of Sakhis. Amidst the Sakhis, after definition of Sakhi, the duties of Sakhi, he gives the varieties of Sakhis, the types of Sakhis. And Rupa Goswami explains there are those who are Sakhis, just plain Sakhis. And an example of that is Brinda Devi or Dhanishta, for example, just a Sakhi. They have sama sneha. They have sneha for Radha and Krishna. And then he explains, then there are those who are Nitya Sakhis, like Mani Manjari. Then the third are those who are Prana Sakhis, like Shashi. Fourth are the Priya Sakhis, like Kamala or Madhvi. And then Rupa Goswami explains the 5th are the Parama Preshta Sakhis. Rupa Goswami says the Parama Preshta Sakhis are the highest on the mountaintop of the hierarchy of Sakhis. So he mentioned very interestingly, the devotees in heaven are more power potent than those here in Kali Yuga, because they are more absorbed and they are devotionally empowered by Krishna. And then those in Vaikuntha are even higher. Those in Krishna Loka are even higher. Those in Mathura are higher than those in Dwarka. Those in Vrindavan are higher than Mathura and Dwarka, the Brajbasis. But then amidst the Brajbasis, we have Dasya, and then greater than that is Sakhi, greater than that is Vatsalya, greater than that is Madhurya. And in Madhurya are the gopis, the Sakhis, who assist Radha and Krishna. Now, in that hierarchy of the Sakhis, Rupa Goswami says there are the Sakhis, the Nitya Sakhis, the Prana Sakhis, the Priya Sakhis, and then the Parama Preshta Sakhis, who are the highest, the topmost peak on the mountain of the hierarchy of Sakhis. And then Rupa Goswami says, amidst those Parama Preshta Sakhis are 8 prominent Sakhis. So Parama Preshta also, there are innumerable. Amidst that, there are 8 prominent ones whom we very famously know as the Ashta Sakhis. The Ashta Sakhis who bless us from the altar of Mayapur Chandrodaya Mandir. They are the crown on the personality, the hierarchical personality of the Parama Preshta Sakhis, who are the highest amidst the Sakhis, who are the highest amidst the Brajvasis, who are the highest amidst all the devotees of Krishna. So these 8 Sakhis, Ashta Sakhis, you can imagine, they are the essence of the essence of the essence of the essence of the essence, the quintessence of devotion to Radha and Krishna. And amidst these 8 Sakhis, Rupa Goswami explains something very, very fascinating, which I want to first speak from the perspective of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami very, very beautifully, he says, Mahabhava Chintamani Radhika Swarup Lalitadi Sakhitar Kaya Vyuharup. Kaviraj Goswami says, Mahabhava Chintamani, that touchstone of divine ecstatic love is Radhikara Swarup. Radhika, Radharani, her Swarup, her form, her love is the touchstone of divine love. But Lalitadi Sakhitar Kaya Vyuharup, she first expands into these 8 Sakhis, the topmost amidst the Parama Preshta Sakhis. But Kaviraj Goswami says, amidst those 8 Sakhis, the topmost is Lalita Adi Sakhi Tara Kaya Vyuha Rup. Amidst those 8 who expand from the body of Radharani as the increasing rays the magnificent, radiant, effulgent rays of the touchstone of Radharani's Mahabhav, the most prominent is Lalita Devi. Rupa Goswami also in his Ujjwala Nilamani, in this context of the 5 categories, Rupa Goswami explains that amidst the Parama Prashta Sakhis, the 8 Ashta Sakhis are most prominent, and amidst the Ashta Sakhis, the leader of the Ashta Sakhi is Lalita Devi. So she is the highest devotee in the whole creation, next to Radharani. So Lalita Devi is the topmost Sakhi. She is the dearmost friend of Krishna and the greatest example of condensed, ecstatic, affectionate love for Radha and Krishna. Because this Lalita Sakhi always walks behind Radharani to make sure that everything is okay for Radharani, to make sure that Radharani is not tripping over something, to make sure that Radharani is taking the right turn, to make sure Radharani is taking the right decisions, because she has a mood of a superior, an older sister, a Siksha Guru, because we understand Lalita Sakhi is 27 days older than Radharani, and that's a lot in Goloka Vrindavan. So Lalita Sakhi, in that mood of an older sister, as a superior, as a mentor, as a Siksha Guru, walks always behind Radharani to make sure that everything is okay, make sure that she's protected, to make sure that Radharani is happy. And because she walks behind Radha, another name for Lalita Sakhi is AnuRādhā. Anu means behind, Anugatya. Anu also means Anukulya Bhavena, which means in a very favorable way. Anu means repeatedly, constantly. So there are many meanings to the word Anu. Anu means to walk behind, Anugatya, to be under. Anu also means Anukul, to be very favorably disposed in the heart. Anu also means constantly, repeatedly. So she who is always walking behind Radharani constantly, repeatedly, with a favorable mood of affection, that may Radharani always be protected. May everything auspicious, Mangalmay, Kalyanakari happen to Srimati Radharani. Therefore, she is called AnuRādhā. This is why when we are discussing the glories of Lalita Sakhi, in line with approaching Srimati Radharani, the topic for today's discussion was approaching Radha through AnuRādhā. So this Radharani, who is the ocean of mercy, she first expands, Adi. Lalita Adi, the first expansion is Lalita Sakhi. And Lalita Sakhi is very interesting. Her mood has been described by Rupa Goswami to be pragalbha. Radha Mukunda Pada Sambhava Karma Bindu Nirmanchanopakarani Kritadeha Laksham Uttunga Saurida Vishesha Vashat Pragalbham Devim Gunaisu Lalitam Namami. Rupa Goswami, very interestingly, he says she is Pragalbha Sakhi. Pragalbha means very haughty. She is explosive. She is volatile. She is very bold in her speech. She is very bold in her actions. It's interesting that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains 360 different kinds of Sakhis in Goloka Vrindavan. And the primary characteristics, the categorizations, he says, one extreme of the spectrum are those who are mukta, those who are very naive, very gullible, very soft, very innocent. And the other side of the spectrum are those who are pragalbha. Pragalbha means very short-tempered, very hot-tempered, very haughty, can come off as very strict, very stubborn, very adamant. But all of that, not with passion, the redness of passion, but with the redness of anurag, or deep attachment and love for Radharani. So out of her protective mentality for Radharani, she may chastise Krishna. She may use rasa as a weapon and torture Krishna. She can cut sarcastic jokes on Krishna, called vakra ukti. She can say something and mean something else, and make the Sakhis laugh while laughing at Krishna. When all the Sakhis step back, Lalita Sakhi steps ahead. So she is the leader to protect Radharani. Ultimately, she loves Radha and Krishna. So therefore, one side are Mugdha Sakhis. Those are very soft and naive and gullible, and they will cry even when they realize that someone meaning Krishna, has spoken something that is not true, or just cooked up a story. Krishna comes to the Kunj little late, and he cooks up a story that, oh, actually my mother gave me some domestic work at home and I was stuck there. I couldn't get done on time. And then after that, when I came out, I said, I want to meet that Sakhi. When I came out, then there was a big ghost-like demon I had to fight. And by then I became so tired. For me to walk from there and reach the Kunj, it became very, very late. So please forgive me. A Mugdha Sakhi will be very easily melted. And she will say, oh, yes, no problem. Whatever. I didn't mean to to be heavy on you. Krishna, you're welcome. You're the Lord of my life. But Pragalva, headed by Lalita Sakhi, on the other side of the spectrum, they will step ahead and say, you're a liar. You said the same thing last time. You can't even come up with good excuses. And she's so volatile and so combustible in her mood that she can sometimes even throw something. Well, in Vrindavan, the maximum you can throw is a flower garland or a flower. So she can throw a flower garland at Krishna to protect Radharani. So that's her mood. She is Pragalva Sakhi. And in the middle, between Mugdha and Pragalva, is Madhya. Madhya means those who are neither Mugdha nor Pragalva. They are in the middle. They are not that naive and gullible, but they're not those that explosive also. And the example of Madhya Sakhis are Radharani, Vishakha Sakhi, etc. We understand Radharani and Vishakha Sakhi appear on the same day. They have the same day of birth. They have the same date of birth, the same tithi of birth. Therefore, both of them have the same astrological calendar. They have the same astrological chart. The horoscope for Radharani and Vishakha Sakhi is the same. So sometimes Krishna will very interestingly go and meet Vishakha Sakhi. And when Vishakha Sakhi says, no, don't meet me, go and meet Radharani, Krishna will say, what to do? Both of you appear at the same time. So both of you have the same destiny. Both of you have the same horoscope. So whether I meet Radharani or I meet you, how does it matter? It's written in your destiny that I will meet you, like that. So therefore, we find that Lalita Sakhi is older to Radharani, and then she takes that Pragalpa mood. But Vishakha Sakhi, being the same time as Radharani, she takes the same mood of Madhya. We find in Chaitanya Charitamrita the relation to this. It's very, very interesting. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna who wanted to taste the mood of Radharani. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed the pastime of Nimai Pandit, and then after that got initiated. Then after that took sannyas, then traveled all over the place. And then he came to Ramananda Rai. He came to Ramananda Rai on the banks of Godavari and heard very wonderfully. In all other conversations, Mahaprabhu is speaking, but only in Ramananda Rai Samvad, he's listening. He wanted to hear from Ramananda Rai. Why is it so? He could have spoken to Swarup Damodar Goswami. Swarup Damodar Goswami knows as much Shastra, or perhaps even little more than Ramananda Rai. So he is considered to be the most Shastric associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu could have just heard Hari Katha and asked questions to Swarup Damodar Goswami. Why did he walk all the way down to South India and meet with Ramananda Rai? This is why. We just explained about Mugdha, Madhya, and Pragalpa. So who is Swarup Damodar Goswami? Swarup Damodar Goswami is Lalita Sakhi, and Ramananda Rai is Vishakha Sakhi. So Krishna, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wants to taste Radha Bhav, the mood of Radharani. So who has the mood of Radharani between Lalita and Vishakha? Vishakha Sakhi has the mood of Radharani, not Lalita Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi has Pragalpa Bhav. Radharani has Madhya Bhav. So therefore, who has the same mood as Radharani? Vishakha Sakhi. And who incarnated? The incarnation of Vishakha Sakhi? Ramananda Rai. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he could go to Swarup Damodar Goswami and ask, he went to Ramananda Rai. Swarup Damodar Goswami is Vishakha Sakhi, is Lalita Sakhi. So when he speaks to Swarup Damodar Goswami, he will hear the waves of Pragalpa Bhav of Lalita Sakhi. And that's not what Krishna came to taste. He came to taste Radha Rani's Bhav, which Vishakha Sakhi in the form of Ramananda Rai can offer. Therefore, Mahaprabhu walked all the way down to hear from Ramananda Rai the echoes of Vishakha Sakhi, who's echoing the Bhav of Radharani. So in that way, Krishna, in all other places he's speaking, but here, because he wanted to relish and realize, he's hearing from Ramananda Rai, who's Vishakha, instead of Swarup Damodar, who is Lalita Sakhi. Now it's interesting, in the Gaur Ganodesh Deepika, since we're speaking about Gaur Leela, it's interesting that Lalita Sakhi's presence in Gaur Leela has been seen. Although very popularly we say that Swarup Damodar Goswami is Lalita Sakhi and Ramananda Rai is Vishakha Sakhi, the Gaur Ganodesh Deepika mentions Swarup Damodar Goswami to be Vishakha and Ramananda Rai to be Lalita Sakhi. So it may be the popular understanding in Gaudiya Vaishnava circles is that Swarup Damodar Goswami is Lalita Sakhi and Ramananda Rai is Vishakha Sakhi. That's one. Second aspect that we see in the Gaur Ganodesh Deepika is a brahmachari by the name Dhruvananda Brahmachari, who's also considered to be an incarnation of Lalita Sakhi in Gaur Leela. The third point that we see in Gaur Ganodesh Deepika is Gadadhar Pandit. Now it's interesting. Gadadhar Pandit we know is an incarnation of Radharani. So Gaur Gadadhar is actually Radha Krishna. But it's interesting that Gaur Ganodesh Deepika mentions that this Gadadhar Pandit is actually a combined incarnation of not just Radharani, but also the mood of Lalita Sakhi. So Radharani and Lalita Sakhi, Radha and AnuRādhā come together as Gadadhar Pandit according to Gaur Ganodesh Deepika. So that's as far as Lalita Sakhi is concerned. Now let's dive a little more deeper into some details about Lalita Sakhi in the form of her services and her mood and her pastimes. Lalita Sakhi is an expert in flower decorations. It's described in the Shastra that she has beautiful, charming, graceful qualities. Her face is so beautiful that it can put a full moon down to shame. And her eyes are like the fast-moving eyes of deer in the forest. You can see that the deer has very beautiful eyes, big eyes, and it's very sensitive and timid. Little sound and the eyes start moving. So that is how Rup Goswami describes Lalita Sakhi. He says that her eyes are as restless, and they move from end to end like a deer. They're beautiful and wide like a deer, and they are fast moving like a deer. Also, at the same time, Rup Goswami mentions that Lalita Sakhi is famous amidst all the Sakhis in her expertise in decorating Srimati Radharani. She makes the best flower outfits. She makes the best flower ornaments. She makes the best cosmetics and decorates Radharani. She sometimes makes ornamental crowns for Radharani with 5 peaks or even 7 peaks sometimes. Very beautiful with golden flowers. She's expert in making flower decorations as bracelets, as armlets, as waist belts, as earrings, even nose ring. And she makes very beautiful rows of flower garlands and flower decorations. In fact, even when she makes forehead decorations, she blesses Radharani that may these forehead decorations, which I'm making so intricately, may they melt by your perspiration of happiness in meeting Krishna, and may they melt down and trickle down your lotus feet and fall as prasad on the head of Shyamasundar. Then this decoration on your forehead is meeting its target. So in this way, Lalita Sakhi, she blesses Radharani while she's making all her ornaments. Even when she's decorating Radharani and putting different flower ornaments, she says, I am putting this in this mood that may these flowers witness these pastimes. May the ankle bells of Radharani, which are also made with very beautiful, wonderful, intricate flower decorations, may these ankle bells find their position on the head of Sri Krishna when Krishna surrenders his life to you. Like that, Lalita Sakhi, from her superior vision, she is blessing Radharani while she's decorating Radharani, and she is giving different decorations and ornamentations of Radharani's body. Apart from all of this, we must understand that Vrindavan is not a place of cheap decorations. It's not just where you put cosmetics from the flowers and the fruits and natural face paint and flowers and leaves for ornamental decorations. Actually, the main decorations are gold, jewels, pearls, diamonds, rubies, emeralds, etc. But the flowers of Vrindavan are so beautiful that no one talks about the gold and the jewels and the pearls, etc. It's not that they're just made out of flowers. It's not some village decorations. Millions and billions of Vaikunthas live in the dust of Braja. So Braja is more opulent than Vaikuntha. But the madhurya, the sweetness of Braja, Vrindavan is so high that the opulence gets completely covered It's not even seen. So therefore, Lalita Sakhi, even when she is decorating Radharani, she uses gold and she uses diamonds and rubies and emeralds and pearls, etc. Very, very expensive ornaments, which are not found even in Vaikuntha. But the flowers of Braja are so attractive, so fragrant, so aromatic. Their shapes and size and the colors are so attractive that no one describes the gold and the jewels. Radharani also knows how to make full bangla, which means she knows how to make very beautiful houses of flower decorations, crisscross flower decorations, so that Radha and Krishna have very beautiful time speaking to each other. Lalita Sakhi also knows a lot of jokes, variety of jokes according to the circumstance. She tricks Krishna by asking very tough riddles, and then when Krishna is scratching his head to answer, at that time Lalita Sakhi is slapping her thigh and laughing on the complete defeat of Radharani's camp over Krishna, how intellectually Krishna has been defeated. And she, when Krishna tries to answer, and she says, "No, this is wrong. You can't even answer this." Then she asks another riddle. And in this way, Lalita Sakhi brings so much joy to the divine couple. It's described Lalita Sakhi also knows some bit of magic also. So she sometimes brings in such magical performances also for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. Now, in the last 15 minutes that we have, after building up philosophically the position of Lalita Sakhi, I would like to share a few sweet pastimes of Lalita Sakhi, which elaborate and which bring out her beautiful qualities. So one quality of Lalita Sakhi is her challenging mood. It's called as the Vamya Bhav. She is not she likes to be contrary. So there's one camp of Chandravali. There's one camp of Chandravali, and then there's one camp of Srimati Radharani. So Chandravali's camp is very subordinate and very subservient. They move and adjust. But Radharani's camp, headed by Lalita Sakhi, is the contrary camp. Durte Vrajendra Tanaye Tanu Shishtuvamya Ma Dakshina Bhava. Don't become Dakshina. Lalita Sakhi tells Radharani, don't become submissive to Krishna. Learn to make different kinds of frowns. So when Krishna comes to you, you look on the other side. Don't look in his direction. He may come and try to play his flute and show his gestures and bring different excuses. Don't even listen to him. Look in the other side and practice different kinds of facial frowns so that you can keep Krishna at bay. This is Lalita Sakhi. So that is Vamya Bhav, contrary mood. And Chandravali has Dakshina Bhav. So just like we follow Radharani, there are groups which follow Chandravali. And both are exalted devotees of the same caliber. But it's just that they look at each other as rivals. They can't understand each other's mood. So our Radharani's camp, headed by Lalita Sakhi, they always pick on the faults of Krishna and they make sure that he understands. And they look down at Chandravali's camp and how can you adjust so much? How can you be so subservient? How can you be so mild and composed when Krishna is saying all these things? But on the other side, on the flip story, Chandravali's camp thinks, how can you get so heavy on Krishna? How can you put Krishna, making him cry on his knees and begging for mercy? How can you ill-treat Krishna like that? So both have their own moods. Chandravali's mood is, I belong to Krishna. And Radharani's mood, headed by Lalita Sakhi, taught by Lalita Sakhi, is we belong to Krishna. Of course, that is understood. But most importantly, Krishna belongs only to us, this possessive mood. So let's come into the first pastime of Lalita Sakhi. At Sham 1, near Kusum Sarovar, one day when all the gopis were picking flowers for Krishna, as we know, Kusum Sarovar is the Sarovar of Kusum, or flowers. So at Sham 1, they had just the neighboring forest, it's called Sham 1. There, Lalita Sakhi and other Sakhis were actually picking different flowers for the pastimes. At that time, Krishna came disguised. He came disguised and he said, hey, how can you do this? I am the Mali here. I am the gardener. I make sure that I am watering all of these plants and taking care of all these fruits and flowers. I protect them from the birds. I protect them from the weeds. I am taking personal care of these flowers of these fruits, of these trees and plants. How dare you come here and start picking all these flowers? So immediately Radharani and all her Sakhis, they took a step back. Lalita Sakhi stepped ahead and she said, well, I don't know about you taking care of this forest. This forest, first of all, belongs to Vrindavaneshwari Radharani. You may be taking care of the trees of Vrindavan, but the whole Vrindavan belongs to Vrindavaneshwari. So you are going to tell us not to pick flowers from here? By that time, the Mali or the gardener, that is Krishna, the forest protector, the forest officer, he already started sweating because now Lalita Sakhi has stepped ahead and he can't come up with words now. And at that time, as he's fumbling, Lalita Sakhi felt this fumble seems to be very familiar, something that I have seen before. So she looks carefully, and behind, on the back of the dhoti, there is a flute that has been tucked in. So Lalita Sakhi goes there and takes off the fake mustache of Krishna and says, this is not Mali. This is not Mali. This is Vanamali. Mali means a gardener. But a Vanamali means he who wears a garland of forest flowers. That's Krishna. So she says, this is not some Mali. This is Vanamali. This is Krishna. And then Krishna feels very embarrassed and all the Sakhis are laughing. Now Lalita Sakhi takes it one step higher and she looks at Krishna and she says, actually, you have the audacity of stopping us from taking these flowers? You should be paying us tax and paying more flowers to us, because the whole forest belongs to Radharani, and you come up with your millions and millions and millions and millions of cows, and they're all eating and grazing on these grass and spoiling the aesthetic beauty of Braja. So therefore, you don't act as the protector. You have to pay tax. Krishna says, but how dare you talk to me like this? Now, I understand you have recognized me, but I'm very pious. I'm a religion personified. You can't talk to me like this. Lalita Sakhi said, religion personified, and you're the one who killed a woman, Putana, when you were only 6 days old. You steal butter from other people's house. You steal the clothes of the gopis. You dance in the Rasalila in the middle of the night. And you tell me that you are the personification of religion? And as Krishna is defeated black and blue with arguments, all the Sakhis are laughing. They are laughing and picking more and more flowers. And the Sakhis are nudging each other with elbows, saying that we want to pick more and more flowers. Why? Because we want to remember that today is the day when Lalita Sakhi crushed the flower of Krishna's excuses. So therefore, we want to collect more and more flowers in this regard. And Lalita Sakhi starts laughing and Radharani starts laughing and Krishna surrenders his life there. So therefore, we see Lalita Sakhi, not just her mood, even the village that she comes from is Ucha Gaon. In Vrindavan, it's very close to Barsana Dham. It's called Ucha Gaon. Ucha in Hindi or Brij Bhasha means something which is very lofty, very high class. So she whose mood is so high class that even the village that she comes from is very, very high class. Rupa Goswami says Lalita Sakhi has so much love for Radha and Krishna that Radha Mukunda Pada Sambhava Garma Bindhu Nirmanchanopakarani Kritadeha Lakshan. Rupa Goswami is not even able to describe Lalita Sakhi's love. So therefore, he's just pointing in that direction for all of us to understand. He's saying that Lalita Sakhi has so much selfless love for Radha and Krishna that if there's one drop of perspiration, Radha Mukunda Pada Sambhava Garma Bindu, if there's one drop of perspiration, sweat at the sole of the feet of Radharani or Sri Krishna, what happens? Radha Mukunda Pada Sambhava Garma Bindu Nirmanchanopakarani Krita Deha Laksham. Lalita Sakhi is ready to expand into 100,000 forms to run to that spot to take that one drop of perspiration away. This is just an expression to understand how much Lalita Sakhi loves Radha and Krishna. How much she loves Radha and Krishna. So this is why Uttunga Saurida Vishesha Vashat Pragalbham. She has that Uttunga Bhav, that high class Saurida friendship with Radha and Krishna, that Vasha. Radha and Krishna are completely controlled by Lalita Sakhi, by her Pragalbha Bhav, her explosive mood, that even, what to speak of Lalita Sakhi, even the whole village is high class. Ucha Gaon. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, Devim Gunaisu Lalitam Lalitam Namami. So that Lalita Sakhi, who is the embodiment, the explosive emblem of all transcendental qualities, I bow down to her. So it's almost, the Shastra describes that Lalita Sakhi is the one who sits with Purnamasi Devi and with Brinda Devi and discuss how to get Radha and Krishna together today. Many times in the pastimes, it's described when Radha and Krishna have to be shielded from the sun. Lalita Sakhi stands up with an opened umbrella to protect Radha and Krishna. Therefore, in Radha Kund, it is described that if anyone takes a dip in Lalita Sakhi's Kund, you see in Radha Kund, there is Radha Kund and there is Sham Kund. But apart from that, there is also Lalita Kund, which is manifest. And recently, they even cleaned up the Lalita Kund after many, many years, and very pure, holy, even materially holy water is found there. So it's described that anyone who bathes in Lalita Kund, which is none different from Lalita Devi, Lalita Sakhi, then what happens? 6 kinds of murders that one may have committed in this life or in the previous lives, all their sins can be absolved. What are the 6 kinds of murders? Brun Hatya, which means the murder of the fetus in the womb. Brahma Hatya, the murder of a Brahmana. Go Hatya, the murder of a cow. Now, Krimi Hatya, killing of insects. Swan Hatya, which means killing of relatives, family members. Atma Hatya, or suicide. Of course, if you commit suicide, you can bathe there. But the power of that tirtha is such that anyone who bathes there, they become free from all of this and they get touched by the mercy of Lalita Sakhi. Rupa Goswami therefore mentions, I don't have to worry about taking shelter of Radharani. All that I have to worry about is taking shelter of Lalita Sakhi, because she's so kind. She offers everyone at the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. The last pastime I would want to speak about today, and then call it a day as far as the glorification of Lalita Sakhi is concerned, comes from a very beautiful, heart-wrenching book of Rupa Goswami by the name Hamsa Duta. If someone reads this book, their heart will melt and drown. Actually, the scene is such. I'll just mention a small piece of this book. It's very beautiful, just in relation to what we are discussing. Rupa Goswami explains in this mood the deep mood of separation of Radharani from Krishna when Krishna has left Vrindavan to go to Mathura. So Radharani is almost dying in separation from Lalita Sakhi, from Sri Krishna, once Krishna has left Vrindavan to go to Mathura. So as Radharani is being tormented by the pains of separation, this book has been written. So the context here is, it's such that it's a small piece, but it's very beautiful. That Radharani is actually walking with Lalita Sakhi, and other Sakhis also are there, but mainly Lalita Sakhi and Radharani. They're walking through on the banks of the Yamuna. And as they walk through the banks of Yamuna, talking about Krishna, they see a pastime cottage. And that showers thunderbolts of separation in the hearts of Radharani, because that is a pastime cottage on the banks of the Yamuna where Radha and Krishna would meet, and very beautiful conversations have taken place. So as Radharani and Lalita Sakhi with other gopis, they're walking on the banks of the Yamuna, and Radharani glances towards that pastime cottage. She falls on her back. She faints completely, as if lifeless, completely unconscious. And Lalita Sakhi panics. She orders all the Sakhis, all the gopis, you run to the Yamuna and bring pots and pots of water. Let me try to revive Srimati Radhika. Go, 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 go. And as the Sakhis and the gopis leave, Lalita Sakhi sits down with a cotton swab and places it near the nostrils of Srimati Radharani to see if there's some sign of life. As the fibers of the cotton move by the breathing of Srimati Radharani, Lalita Sakhi, she immediately drops the swab and she runs to the Yamuna to see what the gopis are doing, to say, yes, she is alive, now bring the water. As she goes there to the banks of the Yamuna, there in the waters of the Yamuna, she sees one very big white swan, Hamsa. So this book is called Hamsa Duta. Duta means a messenger, and Hamsa means a swan. So Lalita Sakhi, she finds this white swan, and the white swan is swimming in the waters of the Yamuna in separation from Krishna. And Lalita Sakhi tells the swan, I need help. Oh swan, oh Hamsa, I need help. I want you to leave the Yamuna, fly to Mathura, and tell Krishna to come back. His Radharani is Jivana Sandhi, on the doorstep of life and death. Please tell Krishna to come back. And at that point, Rupa Goswami explains, no one can criticize Lalita Sakhi for speaking to a white swan on the Yamuna, asking the swan to fly to Mathura. Why? Because Rupa Goswami says the nature of pure love is it melts the heart so much. It makes the heart so soft that the person learns to trust anyone and everyone in the whole world at all times. He becomes so straight in his heart. He becomes so soft. He becomes so, um, his heart melts with so much love and so much affection that he ends up speaking and trusting anything and everything at all times in this whole world. So Lalita Sakhi speaking to that white swan, Rupa Goswami writes, is an expression of her deep love for Radha and Krishna. And therefore she is not realizing, but speaking to a swan to become an order carrier. So she tells, and in fact, she doesn't stop there. She speaks to the swan and she says, I want you to take the following message. Speak this very carefully. Don't add or take away anything from what I'm telling you. Understand and repeat it in your heart. And also when you go to Mathura, this is the route you should take. This is the direction that you should fly from. And please don't go through this route, because this route has many beautiful pastime places. And that will remind you, when you look there, it will remind you of Radha and Krishna. And if you look there and if you remember Radha and Krishna, your heart will break. And with a broken heart, how can you become a messenger for Srimati Radharani? Therefore, please don't go through that path. And when you fly from this area, don't look to the left side, because that's filled with many beautiful, wonderful kunjas where pastimes of Radha and Krishna have taken place. So therefore, don't take this route, take this route. But while going through this route, don't look through the left. And just take this message and fly and tell Krishna that Radharani's heart cannot be broken any further. Please come back. So it's so interesting that Lalita Sakhi, who's pragalbha, who's explosive, and she can explode in her very haughty mood, apparently haughty transcendental mood of anger, transcendental anger. She is stepping ahead, and her heart is completely broken and melted, speaking to this white swan. So at that point in the Hamsaduta, Lalita Sakhi sits down, touching her her hand to her face, crying loudly, saying that so many times Krishna would come and beg that I want to have darshan of Radharani. And so many times Radharani would want to have darshan of Krishna. But I was the wicked demon. I was the shield of Radharani, stopping her from meeting Krishna or punishing Krishna from meeting Radharani. Lalita Sakhi cries and says that now when I want them to meet each other, they are not with me. Krishna is in Mathura and Radharani is lifeless. I wish I was not so heartless. When Radharani wanted to meet Krishna, I would stop her and say, don't trust him, don't meet him, don't even go in that direction. And when Krishna would come to meet Radhika, I would reject him off the kunj and say, think of a better excuse. Punish yourself by doing this. This is the atonement, etc. Lalita Sakhi sits down, lamenting and regretting in tears in the pages of Hamsaduta, in separation, that I wish I had stopped being so so hard-hearted. I wish I would have told Radharani, go and meet Shyamasundar and never return to the state of separation. And I wish I had told Shyamasundar, go and meet Radharani and never apologize like this. But what to do? I was the biggest wicked demon in Vraja, more wicked than Putana, because Putana came out as a demon and she wanted to kill Krishna. But at the same time, she didn't act as a hurdle, an obstacle between Radha and Krishna. But I, as a Sakhi, my duty is to get them together, but I was standing between them and not letting them meet. Oh, I am so hard-hearted. I am so steel-framed. And in this way, Lalita Sakhi, who can be so humorous, who can be so stubborn and transcendently haughty, but she, in her selfless love of affection, she is regretting and lamenting in the pages of Hamsaduta. So, dear devotees, our only hope to get to the lotus feet of Radha, to get to the lotus feet of Krishna in the realm of Vraja, is to take shelter of Srimati Radharani, who's appearing tomorrow on Radhashtami. And our only hope to get to the lotus feet of Radharani is to get to the lotus feet of Lalita Sakhi. Because if Lalita Sakhi recommends, Radharani cannot reject. So therefore, by remembering Lalita Sakhi and praying to Lalita Sakhi, offering the Lalita Ashtakam of Rupa Goswami for her pleasure, we can take shelter of her lotus feet and attain Radha and Krishna. But however, who can understand Lalita Sakhi? There's only one person who can understand Lalita Sakhi, and that is Srila Rupa Goswami. Who can understand apart from that? Because Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari in Goloka Vrindavan, the dearmost associate of Lalita Sakhi. So the hierarchy is as follows. To get to Krishna, we get to the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. To get to Radharani, we get to the lotus feet of Lalita Sakhi. To understand Lalita Sakhi, we take shelter of Rupa Manjari, the dearmost associate of Lalita Sakhi, who came in this world as Rupa Goswami. But to understand Rupa Goswami, we take shelter of those two divine lotus feet who were placed in the courtyard of Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan, and who, through his window, was absorbed looking at the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami, none other than our very beloved Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada lived at Radha Damodar temple, taking shelter of the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami, and there crying for the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami, he begged for empowerment. So Srila Prabhupada represents Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami takes us to Lalita Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi takes us to Radharani, and Radharani takes us to Krishna. Therefore, thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for giving us this wonderful global opportunity. Even when the whole world is in a lockdown, we are physically distant, socially distant, but we are virtually connected with devotees here, and we are discussing the most auspicious, glorious position of Radharani on the basis of your book, Srila Prabhupada. If you wouldn't have translated painstakingly the Bengali verses of Kaviraj Goswami into the English language, what reference would we have? What frame of mind, what frame of reference would we have to discuss all these philosophical truths and these pastimes? Therefore, without Prabhupada's compassionate gift to this world, all of these festivals and all of these tattvas and all of these stories will make no sense to us. So thank you, Radha and Krishna, for giving us Lalita Sakhi. Thank you, Lalita Sakhi, for giving us Rupa Goswami. And thank you, Rupa Goswami, the leader among the six Goswamis, who followed the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to finally give us Srila Prabhupada in this generation, that even during a social lockdown, we can hear about the pastimes of Lalita Sakhi, who would lock down even Krishna's arguments and Krishna's excuses. So taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada's mercy, I would like to offer my obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and my obeisances of gratitude to the GBC strategic planning team for considering me for this opportunity of service. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah.
Thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada, for giving us this is called family and a wonderful gem like Amarendra Prabhu, from whom we got to hear such wonderful pastimes of Srimati Radharani and Lalita Sakhi. The last 1.5 hours. It's over 90 minutes now. As he will agree, generally SPT videos are always less than 60 minutes. In fact, I am one of the most vocal advocates of shorter videos, but today I am mesmerized, and I really want him to continue for another 90 minutes, if possible. Thank you so much, Amarendra Prabhu, for giving us such a wonderful pastimes and taking us back to Vrindavan. Thank you so much. Also, a very big thank you to all our viewers, without whom all these events does not make any sense. So with that, I will conclude this session. I'm wishing all of you a very, very happy Radha Ashtami. May we all attend the lotus feet of Radharani through the mood of Srimati Lalita Devi. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.